Good afternoon, technicians, and welcome to Tech Talk, another episode of Tech Talk. This afternoon, we will be introducing the Navistar Engine Diagnostics Snapshot Review. My name is Ramon Perez. I am a bilingual trainer here at Navistar, and today assistants will be David.
Hello, I'm David Bios.
Thank you, David. Why are we here? The importance of this lesson is to identify those features available to us through Navistar Engine Diagnostic related to snapshots. And we will be covering net overview, session tools, snapshots, snapshot trigger setup and recording. Welcome back. And before I proceed, let me say that when you guys see me pointing this way, basically I am pointing at what you are already looking at, which is the Navistar net software tools that also David will have open. Having said that, speaking of net overview, I will now jump into the truck and start the truck while David is opening the software. Key on. Our Navistar software tool is now open, and the very first thing I will cover is an overview, a quick overview of those features that I will be covering today. So starting out from left to right on the icon bars, starting out with the snapshot icon and the drop-down manual. These are the icons that I will be covering, as well as if we come off from the drop-down menu, we can also identify those icons directly below. So you can go either way, but also let's go to session, please. On the session drop-down menu, we are going to see, I'm going to talk about performance. And under performance, okay, basically here I am going to talk about how to manipulate the screen. So sometimes we open up the screen and we don't see the signals that we are looking at right now, okay? So if David get the cursor and move it up, when it change form like so, left click and drag it up, all the way up, and sometimes we see that, okay? When we see that, don't forget that there are additional information hidden, and those additional information is basically what we just saw a second ago, okay? So let's go ahead and drop that down again, David, please. And this is the additional screenshot that basically is showing us the signals for that particular window. So in addition to that, if we go to the bar, anywhere in that bar, left, right, you pick and choose, and left click, then scroll down, highlight watch and click on it. Now your column on the right hand side, your watch column on the right hand side has a check mark for engine load, engine speed, and the intake manifold pressure. If I am just interested in the intake manifold pressure, I can go to engine load and click on it and it will go away. The same for engine speed. So right now I am just looking at my IMP signal for the HV, which is right now in the off position. The value of the IMP right now is being indicated by a 0 kilogram mass of air per hour. And also, if we look at the signal itself in the net tool, we are seeing also the value of 0. Okay, so now let's go down below to the screen below where we see the VGT position, and we are going to get rid of the EGR valve as we just did previously. There you go. Thank you, David. So now this EGR position signal, okay, let me tell you something about the VGT actuator. The VGT actuator, EOL, that acronym stands for end of line. So basically when we do ignition key on, okay, that VGT actuator cycles, click, click, okay? When we turn it off, that VGT lever goes from 0% all the way to 100%, okay? So basically from the open position to the closed position. And we're about to see this in a minute. In other words, with the hood down, can you verify the performance of the VGT actuator linkage as I am talking about it? Yes, you can. So, but before we go any further, we are looking right now just at the VGT position with a 0%, okay? So I will now jump in the truck and cycle the key, okay? And you will see how that signal is going to change percentage. So just watch. So there goes. Okay. So it's moving from 0 all the way down. And before I get disconnected from net, I turn my key back on. So again, manipulating the screen, as I said just a minute ago, I can see the signal as I went key on, key off, how my VGT actuator is operating or functioning, okay? So the other thing that I want to show here is, let's see, David, let's try to go to, where's my APP? Let's go to sessions. No, let's go to, I'm sorry, let's go to tools. Okay, so from tools, creating a session, we can either do it from this area of net, or we can do it from signal. So if I go to create session, please, David, thank you. Now let's go to signal and watch the screen. If we click on signal, it didn't even blink. So like I said, you can do it from either side. So let's go to the middle of the screen, right around the next to ID icon. Okay, that icon looks like a martini glass, but in actuality is a view manual. So when we click on it, the search window pops up. Assuming that we have a customer concern with a accelerator pedal concern, okay, not operating correctly. So let's type in there APP. Sometimes net is not friendly user with acronyms, but it looks like today we got a good day. So it did give us those acronyms. So as we can see, APP1 and APP2, on the right-hand corner, we got the watch column. I'm going to, yes, thank you, David. APP1, APP2, as well as APP1 voltage and APP2 voltage. Now, I'm only interested in those signals because of my customer concern. Having said that, I'm going to get rid of all the other signals by clicking on Show Watch. Thank you, David. So now I got a clean picture or clean frame of what I want to see. Now, before I move any further, this is just creating this session. So again, just like I demonstrated from the turbo actuator signal working or performing like it should, let me now go back to the truck and I will press the accelerator pedal a few times and watch the signals. As I am pressing on the accelerator pedal, okay, up or down, I can see my signals responding to my accelerator pedal function, okay? So again, this is another tool in which we can, even with the hood down and just net open, we can identify or verify quickly, okay, the status of some of the signals. In this case, APP1, APP2. One more thing I want to bring to your attention. APP1 and APP2, if we look at it right now, or should I say, I'm looking at APP1 percentage, that's 0. And also I'm looking at APP1 voltage and APP2 voltage. Under normal conditions, as we already know, APP2 voltage is half or approximately half of APP1. So I'm looking at APP1 with 1.0 volts, 0.6 volts, and then APP2 voltage with a status or value of 0.54. Again, that's just right about half of APP2. Now, notice again, I'm going to go back to the truck. When I press on the accelerator pedal, not only the signal changes, but also the value of the signals changes. Watch. As you can see, the percentage as well as the voltage as I'm pressing on the accelerator pedal is also changing, responding to what I'm doing to the accelerator pedal. So again, not only the signal, physical signal itself is changing, but also the value of those signals is also responding to what I'm doing to the accelerator pedal. So now that we have created a session, okay, well, let's go ahead and save that session because we never know when we're going to need it. In the near future, maybe that we get another truck come in, even an hour from now or a month from now. A truck comes in with the same concern, and now we are going to save that session. So saving that session, we go back to Tools, drop-down menus, we'll go to Session Tools, and then we go to Save Session. Now, from this point, we have two choices. Option 1, we can save it in Net Software Tools or EasyTech hard drive. And option 2 will be a USB drive. Right now, David has a USB drive inserted in the EasyTech, and we are going to save it in the USB drive. So please, David. And we are going to name this file Tech Talk 3 or TT3 or Tech Talk 3. So as we are saving this file, again, the objective here is that if we have to use this snapshot, we don't have to create it from the beginning. We can always come back to the save file that we are creating right now. Okay, so we'll save it. Once it's saved, we are going to go back to default screen. So that'll put us back to the default screen. Now, the question that I have, and I will give you an answer myself, the question that I have is, some technicians think or believe that the USB file, the file that we just saved in the USB can be opened from File. right on the net on the top left-hand corner. Let's give it a try and see if we can do that. Please, David. So we are trying to open this session from the USB itself. Oh, look, surprise, surprise. Window cannot be opened. Window cannot open this file. So the answer is no, we cannot open it. So if we go back to default, the default page, the proper way to open it will be by going to Tools, and then load session. And click on Tech Talk 3. And there it is. This is the session that we saved a month ago. Because of a second customer concern coming in, I don't have to start from scratch because I saved it. So, good job, guys. So let's go back to defaults, please. So at this point in time, I have demonstrated the manipulation of a screen under the performance screen. And I have also demonstrated saving a session, creating a session, saving a session, and uploading a session. We also saw some signals, or the signal of the VGT actuator, as well as the APP and its values. Okay, this is very useful tool to you guys. Okay, again, like I said, for you to get a quick, swift overview of where is the status of my accelerator pedal in this case, and as well as its circuits, okay? Before you go any further. This is something that you can do within just a few minutes, okay? So now, my next session is gonna be the snapshot session. So let's go to snapshot, please, David. Okay, so from this session, playback snapshot recording, we click on that. And as we already know, this snapshot, this particular snapshot is in ECTech page. It is a snapshot that basically received all the snapshots that are being recorded and saved from Net software tools. So in other words, every time we are recording a snapshot, once the recording is completed, has been completed, that particular snapshot directly goes into this folder that I am talking about. So this folder, you can easily have 100 to 150, depending how busy you stay in your shop. And this particular folder, I easily have, without a doubt, probably over 100, 150 folders. Now my question is, but before I go into my question, the snapshot folder, when it's being saved, basically is just being grabbed and thrown in that folder. It's not set in order. So having said that, sometimes, here's my question. Sometimes I ask technicians, so how do you go by in finding this particular snapshot recording today, particular snapshot recording? Well, some technicians go, I look at the VIN number of this particular truck and scroll through the folder and try to find it. Well, yes, you can do it that way, but you are consuming too much time. And we are talking about uptime here in Navistar. So I will show you an easier way, okay? Faster and less turbulence, if you know what I mean. So the icon that looks like a calendar, which basically is view menu, we click on that, David, please. All right, so we click on detail. Now notice 3 columns just pop up, just populated, okay? The first one is size, the size of each folder. The second one is the type of the folder, which is a zip active folder. Active or
Archive.
Archive, I'm sorry. Cannot see right now, but yes. And the third one is they modify. So day modified is the one that we are interested in. So when we go to day modified, notice that it turns blue, okay? Remember, click on that date modified. But before you do that, let me say, look at the dates. The dates are not in order. Right now, I'm looking at December 12, 2017. When David click on it 3 times, please.
I already clicked on it once.
Okay, so he already clicked on it once, so there it is. Thank you, David. So right now, I'm looking at October 23rd, today's date, okay? So that will be the snapshot, the last snapshot that we recorded. If I want to open it, I'll go ahead and open it. I'm not going to do that right now, but I just want to show you how to minimize wasting time in searching under 100 or 150 snapshots. That will be an easier and fast way to do.
So this is going to be your very first one, and then date modified. Now it's the newest one.
Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. So we'll close that and go back to our default screen. Okay, so right now I just went over real quick through snapshots and snapshot overview, viewing it. The next session that I'm going to talk about is trigger setup. Okay, so the way we go by setting up a trigger is we'll go to snapshot. It is a snapshot. Trigger setup is a snapshot. So, and before I go any further, why do we want it? What's the purpose of a trigger setup? Okay, why am I interested in opening a trigger setup? Would you like to help me on that, David, please?
I believe what you're doing, the reason you're doing a trigger setup is because you won't be able to really press record while you're in the vehicle, right? So for example, I think we're going to be doing it with the accelerator pedal. Right. So once you, for example, I know we're going to be doing the cruise control switch. So once you select the cruise control switch button, then it'll start recording.
Absolutely right. Thank you, David. So in addition to what David have said, yes, he's absolutely right. So what I want to show you is also the ability that you will have with this session is you have the ability, it's available to you, like David mentioned, be able to record from the cruise control switch. Well, before we do that, we need to set it up to do that, okay? So David and I will set it up right now. So we'll go into the signal.
Well, let's just do it again one more time. So trigger setup.
Trigger setup, yes, that's fine. And then now so let me remind you something good about this trigger. As you look at all these signals, they are in alphabetical order, starting with an 8 all the way down. So we are going to find C as in Charlie, and we are looking for cruise control enable 596. And while David take a few seconds to try to find it for us, there it is. Now the next step is logic, okay? So we need to set the logic. The logic is going to be equals. And then now the value. The value is going to be enable. All right. So now if David goes to unit, you may ask, what am I going to do with unit? Nothing. Just leave it blank. There's nothing you can do with it in this case. Well, before we go into save this snapshot trigger setup that we have already set up, let me say that your pre-trigger, we got it set up right now for 10 seconds, yes? And your post-trigger, can you set that up for 20 seconds, please, David? Thank you, sir. So the 20-second, post-trigger 20-second, that will be the time that at the end of 20 seconds, sometimes it may run just a little off, 22, 23 seconds, give or take, but approximately at around 20 seconds, that trigger setup will automatically save your recording and put it in that folder that we talked about earlier. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and save it, please, David.
So one more time, I just want to clarify. So
Yes, sir.
So this cruise control enable switch is going to be our trigger. So once the trigger equals enabled, which is going to be clicked, it's going to record 10 seconds prior and 20 seconds after.
Absolutely, absolutely right. Thank you for that reminder. Yes, and David, that is correct. That is a true statement. So now I am going to jump in the HV, and but before I do that, we need to arm the trigger that we just set up by clicking on the green icon with a white check mark. Notice a change figure. Okay, so we armed it. Okay, so we need to arm it before we activate it. Okay, now that it's armed, it's ready for activation or recording. That's what I'm going to do in the truck. Once I jump in the truck, I am going to start recording through, because I have set it for this, the cruise control switch. In the meantime, when I'm in the truck doing this, I want you to observe those three icons, the two on the right side. Absolutely right. Thank you, David. Right next to the X mark. So again, from here, I'll go ahead and I'm driving. And as I am driving, I am ready now to go ahead and start recording. The way I set it up, all I have to do is click OK while I'm driving, and now I'm recording. Again, this is a feature available to you. Now, if we monitor the screen, at approximately 20 seconds later, a window will pop up in the middle of the screen saying, okay, your snapshot, there it is. Okay, now it's going to be saved. Okay. It is going to be saved in the snapshot folder that we talked about earlier. Okay, by clicking OK. Okay, now that snapshot, now that recording went into the snapshot folder. It's waiting for me when I get to my shop. I open it, and then I'll go ahead and select those signals that we selected earlier: APP1, APP2, APP1 voltage, APP2 voltage, because I'm interested in verifying customer concern. And if there is a problem, then fix it as well. So from this point, I have covered trigger setup, and starting from the top, I have covered net overview. I have covered trigger setup. I'm sorry. I have covered snapshots. I have covered session, creating a session, saving a session, uploading a session, and a USB drive as well. And then I just finished covering the trigger recording. One thing before the end of the program that I wanted to show you, basically a lot of technicians are not aware of this, but let me see if I can get it to beep at me real quick. Just give me 1 second. All right, so this is the beeping sound that earlier I was trying to get, and for some reason I didn't get it. However, I got it now. This beeping sound in the HV can be silenced very easy. And all you have to do is, I'm pressing on the service brake. Okay, once I do that, All I got to do is press on the OK button, hold it, and there it is.
Sorry, headphone users.
In the HV, yes, I know. I apologize about that if you guys heard it out there. It was a loud noise, but we are good. So having said that, this is the conclusion of today's episode, and we welcome you. Oh, a question just came up.
So a question came in about, let me recall that again. So why can't I just hit record for a snapshot and do a recording? Why did I have to do a trigger? What was the point of using a trigger and not just hitting the record button?
Let me answer.
The way we just demonstrated it?
Why did we use a trigger?
We use a trigger as recording function because it gives the opportunity it's more of safety related from my perspective. When I use that feature, I'm keeping my eyes on the road, okay? And secondly, well, I can do it myself. I don't have to have another technician sitting right next to me, and all I have to do is drive when I'm ready to record. All I got to do is reach with my thumb and start recording, as you guys saw it. Excellent question. Really good question. If no other question for me, then again, thank you, David and I. Thank you for this episode of Tech Talk, and hopefully we'll be able to see you again on the next episode. Thank you again for watching.
There we go.